Welcome to Vacuum Wars. I'm Stephanie, and this is our review of the Roborock Qrevo Curv S5X, a variant of the popular Qrevo Curv. This mid-range robot vacuum has a lot of the same core hardware as the original Curv, which is a popular model that did really well on our tests last year. But this S5X variant has some downshifting in certain features to bring the price lower. We bought the S5X for ourselves and put it through a series of independent tests over the last few weeks to decide if this model lives up to the Curv reputation. We'll go over the pros and cons and see whether this model can earn itself a spot on our top 20 robot vacuums list. So, links are in the description, and let's get started. Starting with the basics, the Curv S5X is a sub-variant of the Qrevo Curv family, which is a part of Roborock's mid-range robot vacuum and mop combos. Curvs are known for their distinctive white rounded dock, and the S5X is positioned as a lower-tier option. Pricing fluctuates a lot, but we typically see this model selling for noticeably less than the higher-end Curv versions. Moving on to the pros. The vacuum's hardware includes a flexi arm side brush, which gets into those hard-to-reach corners to sweep debris. And it also includes Roborock's signature Duo Divide main brush, which channels hair through a gap in the middle to prevent tangles around the axle. The S5X did an amazing job of picking up debris of various sizes from both hard floors and carpets, with no visible scattering. But one of the most impressive things about it was its deep cleaning ability. For example, in our carpet deep clean test where we see how good the robot is at cleaning deeply embedded sand on medium carpet, it scored an amazing 93%, which is a top 3 score out of more than 175 robot vacuums we've tested in this way. Similarly, in our 2.5-inch pet hair test, where we press the hair into a medium pile carpet to mimic real-world conditions, the S5X did a great job, pulling up more hair than the average robot vacuum. We also really liked the anti-tangling brush, which came through our 7-inch hair test with 0% of the hair wrapping around it, much better than our average testing result. Another big pro was its mopping system. The Curv S5X has dual spinning mop pads, where one of the pads extends to the side for edge coverage, close to walls and furniture. The pads also lift 10 millimeters when the robot senses carpet to prevent the fibers from getting wet. This is an important feature for homes with mixed hard floors and carpets, so the robot can vacuum and mop in a single run versus splitting the job up into multiple passes. As far as mopping performance goes, the S5X was mixed. It scored below average on our legacy stain test, but above average on our newer one, which puts it around the middle overall. One thing we really liked, though, was its water usage. On the medium setting, it used about half as much water as the average robot. That matters because Curv models have historically used a lot of water, which can boost stain scores, but it can also leave floors looking pretty streaky. So, while the stain results weren't a standout, it got there with much more controlled water output, and overall mopping performance lands in the moderate range. If you want better stain removal, you can bump up the water flow in the app, but otherwise expect a decent everyday mop. The docking station is a big pro for the S5X. This is the 3rd generation of Roborock's multifunctional dock, and it's pretty feature-rich. The dock washes the mop pads with hot water and dries them with warm air to minimize the bacteria growth and odors. Dirt detection measures how soiled the water is and can trigger an automatic remopping of very dirty areas, and it automatically empties the robot's onboard dustbin into a disposable bag. There's also a self-cleaning feature for the dock itself, and a detachable tray makes it easier to hand wash the base when it needs extra maintenance. Another pro was its navigation and mapping ability. Navigation is handled with top-mounted LiDAR, and the S5X was really strong here. The navigation efficiency score was above average, with the S5X covering 0.84 square meters per minute. Battery efficiency was another big pro, with the S5X getting 1.69 minutes out of 1% of battery life, which was almost 25% better than average. Together, this helped the S5X cover about 400 extra square feet per charge than the average testing result. Roborock's app is strong, and it's one of our favorites in the industry. The app gives you granular control over water flow, suction, and mopping direction, allowing the robot to mop with the grain of your hard floors to reduce the appearance of streaks. This is in addition to the standard app features of scheduling, room customization, and no-go zones. Because this model doesn't have a camera, it's not going to have some of the often advertised pet features like looking for your pet or taking pet pictures, and that missing camera brings us into the cons. The biggest con by far for this model is the obstacle avoidance. The Curv S5X relies on what Roborock calls reactive tech obstacle avoidance, which uses LiDAR and 3D structured light to sense objects in its path. It's a big step above a simple bumper sensor robot, but it's less reliable than a model with a camera would be. This was clear in our obstacle avoidance test, where the S5X only successfully avoided 7 out of 24 obstacles in our basic test and torture test. This was far below average, and while it's better than having no obstacle avoidance at all, it's not better by very much. One other con is the onboard dustbin. This one is on the small side, almost 25% smaller than the average robot's dustbin. We consider real-world reviews and user experiences from places like Amazon and Reddit, and while most people were happy with this model, there was a recurring complaint of the robot spitting out debris after running for a bit. This is often a symptom of an overfull dustbin, which can happen especially in homes with a lot of pet hair. Users can increase the frequency of dustbin emptying to help manage this, and they can also run the robot more often to prevent buildup. We want to bring up these sorts of real-world insights, which aren't always obvious in our tests. All in all, the Curv S5X turned out some pretty good scores. So we think that even with the trade-offs, this model lives up to the Curv's reputation for good vacuuming, performance, efficiency, and automation. Mopping was a bit more middle of the pack, and obstacle avoidance is definitely where you'll see the biggest cost-saving trade-off. If you're looking for something with better obstacle avoidance, you can check out the higher-tiered Curv models, 2 of which are currently on our top 20 robot vacuum list, which we keep updated to reflect our most recent testing results. Links are in the description, and be sure to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you go. Thanks for watching.
All of the links in the description are updated regularly to reflect our current favorite vacuums in multiple categories. You'll also find links to the Vacuum Wars website in the description, where we have more detailed lists of our favorite products, like our new top 20 robot vacuums list, which is updated weekly.